Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ's predictions video for the 2019 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I am being joined by not 3 but 4 guests for this special video. I figured since it is the Royal Rumble, we'll make things just a little bit bigger than we usually do here on the predictions panel. Josh, thank you for being on today, and I want to start with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view?
Let's see. 6 out of 10. I was so much more excited last year when it was the first ever women's Royal Rumble, and probably because I wanted Asuka and Nakamura to win, and they did. And then you look at the aftermath, and this year I'm like, eh.
Well, it's funny how a year can change things in various ways. All right, so TJS, 1 to 10, how you feeling?
Honestly, man, I'm about a 9 because these Royal Rumbles always get me. Even if I talk about, even if they're terrible, I just get excited because of the surprise entrance and everything, and I just like to see how everything plays out. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like you said, a year can really change things. Nakamura.
Yep, exactly. All right, Big G, 1 to 10.
I'm gonna have to go 7 out of 10. I'm looking forward towards the Rumble matches itself and other couple matches for this pay-per-view. So,
all right. Well, I agree with Josh with the 6. Virtue, how are you feeling compared to the rest of us?
4.
ooh.
Wow.
It's going to be laborious and torturous on Sunday night. I'm going to have my Nintendo Switch ready. Absolutely.
All right, well, there you have it from Virtue. Let's see if after this video is done, if that can create any more excitement for Virtue. Time will tell. Okay, so it's a 2-hour kickoff. You know, this is one of the big 4 events, so we have to have extra time. And this is taking place at I believe it's Chase Field, correct me if I'm wrong, in Phoenix,
Correct.
Arizona. It's a ballpark. Last I checked, they're still not sold out for the show. You could get like $20 seats in the upper deck areas and even get like $30 seats on StubHub if you wanted to. You could even get like lower level seats in like pretty much any part of the stadium. So I don't know if they're going to be able to fill up the place or not. I'm sure it'll be pretty packed by the time the show airs. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, we do have 2 kickoff matches, and we'll see how many people are in the building for these 2 matches. The first one we'll talk about is the United States Championship match, which very well could be the first match of the night, which would be hilarious considering the fact that last year Shinsuke Nakamura was the Royal Rumble winner for the men's division, and this year he's on the kickoff challenging Rusev for the United States Championship. All right, so Big G, let's start with you. Do you think that we'll see Nakamura win the title back, or do you think Rusev Day will continue on the kickoff?
Well, it's just a shame how far Nakamura has come. Like we've all said, won the 2018 Royal Rumble, had this awful feud with AJ Styles, and now he's on the kickoff. Rusev, okay, he's doing a little bit better. He's got the U.S. title. So, and I don't think a title's ever changed on the kickoff, so I'm sticking with Rusev to retain the title
All
on
right.
the kickoff show.
All right, Josh.
I don't know. WWE likes to play hot potato a lot with these titles. I can see it switching back and forth all the way to WrestleMania. So, but yeah, give Rusev his day here, you know, because I know. By the way, is anybody missing Rusev Day? Like missing English. It's a shame what's going on with that. But yeah, I think I'll go with Rusev to retain, and we'll see what happens. I honestly, yeah, Rusev retains, but they're probably going to go back and forth between WrestleMania.
All right, TJS.
Man, the U.S. title is as cold as Katie Vick's corpse. It's
Ouch.
what's going on here, man? I mean, the title, when John Cena held it, was so elevated. When Roman Reigns held it, was so elevated. And now it's on the kickoff. Nakamura's on the kickoff after winning the Rumble last year. And it sucks because I really
Flesh. Okay.
I really care about Rusev, and I feel like him parting with Aiden English was the kiss of death, honestly, for both of them. I felt like they were better off as a unit, and now Rusev is. I thought that since he won the title would get showcased more, but no, he hasn't been on the show the last 2 weeks. So I guess you could flip a coin here, but I guess I'm going to go with Rusev to win, to retain. So that's all I can say.
All right.
I think Rusev will retain, but Nakamura might win the match. I don't know. Hey, regarding the attendance, no Roman Reigns, no selling tickets.
Ooh, well, that's a bold claim right there.
Hey, they don't tarp Raw off like they do SmackDown, and Roman was the lead cast on Raw, so.
Well, there
Just
you
saying.
go.
Where was Royal Rumble at last year? Was that San Antonio?
That was
No,
2017.
2017.
Okay. When it was in San Antonio, was that a pretty packed house? Did they have a lot of open seats?
They did have some open seats.
Because that was a bigger venue. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't do these non-WrestleMania events in bigger venues like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to ask because you have fans traveling in for WrestleMania and they're spending all the money on that. And then some fans like to do like All In and All Elite Wrestling stuff, so they're pretty much spent after that.
They had a big Rumble a while back that had Goldberg, Undertaker, Brock. They had a bunch of star power. I think that was the
Alamo.
Yeah.
And it still didn't sell.
Chase Field, that's a baseball field. So is it going to be?
Yeah, it's weird.
Is it going to be open? Is it going to be an outside Royal Rumble?
Yes.
Yeah, so this should be similar to where like they had WrestleMania 19. That was a baseball stadium too, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, Safeco Field. Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind it's Arizona, which means they're probably not going to have any rain, so they could just keep it outdoors. It's going to be 65, 70 degrees, and have the outdoor feel to it, which will be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I always like when it's outdoors because it has a little bit of a different vibe, the whole atmosphere of the show. So I am looking forward to that. But the question is, will they be able to fill up the crowd? Will it look full on TV or not?
Will we get fireworks?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I mean, I guess we'll know in a couple of days because they usually do pyro tests, and somebody is able to leak that information out if they're doing pyro tests. So I think we'll know before the pay-per-view if they're going to do it or not.
Yeah.
All right, so the other kickoff match, we have Buddy Murphy defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto. TGS, have you been following 205 Live? I mean, I think that's Noah Foster who says 205 Lives matter. So your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've been following 205 Live, and it's been excellent. Not really any storylines, but, I mean, the wrestling's good. I personally like stories. I like characters, but they actually put Hideo Itami with Arya Daivari as a mouthpiece, which is just really weird. Anyway, this should be a really good match, but I don't see Buddy Murphy losing the title. I think that he'll retain. I think they're doing the whole story where it's like, oh, the odds are stacked against him, and oh, he could never overcome this, but Kalisto's been champion, Tozawa's been champion, Tommy hasn't, but I just don't think I don't think a heel is going to beat Buddy Murphy, even though he doesn't have to get pinned. I just think Murphy's going to retain since he's like the juggernaut, and they've been really pushing him, and it looks like they like to do long title reigns with the Cruiserweight titles because, I mean, Enzo dropped it in like controversy and everything, so I guess they're still trying to rebuild that brand. So yeah, Murphy's retaining.
All right, Virtue?
Buddy Murphy, yeah. I mean, I'm not interested in 205 Live, so I'm just going to say the champ keeps his title.
All right, Big G?
Well, I'm not going to agree with TJS or Virtue.
What?
I really haven't been keeping up on 205 Live, but I'm thinking a new champ will be crowned, and I think it'll be Hideo Itami to win the Cruiserweight title finally.
Wow, already a change here. You guys were agreeing on everything for the NXT predictions. All right, well,
it's because I called him out on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I wanted the streak to continue. I'm sad now. Well, anyways, Josh, your thoughts?
I'm guilty as well of not keeping up with 205 Live, so I'm just going to say Buddy Murphy.
As am I. I haven't been following it, and I agree with what TJS said. I feel like these types of matches where they make a big deal out of the odds being stacked against the champion tends to retain. So I'm just going to say
when was Super Showdown?
I will say one thing. I do think it will be a very fun, exciting match, and I will probably be like, why wasn't this on the main card? I'll give it that.
Super Showdown was in October, Big G. October 8th, I believe.
Okay, and we're in almost January, so November, December. So what, 3 months he's been champion? 4 months?
Close to 4 months.
When are they going to come out with a new show, 405 Live, with a bunch of big dudes?
That was Big Show versus Braun Strowman, that match they had on Raw, and there was a crowd sign that said 405 Live.
Nice. I remember that.
All right, so now we move on to the main card. The first match we'll talk about is for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. We have The Bar defending against The Miz and Shane McMahon. So on SmackDown this week, we had Shane McMahon and Miz get laid out by The Bar. The Bar picked up Shane and put him through a table that The Miz was lying on. Bar dominated them to get the heat for Sunday. I initially thought we were going to see Miz turn heel on Shane, and that would be the end of the team, and that would set up Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania. Now I don't know. The Bar dominated so much on that go-home episode of SmackDown. I'm wondering if we're going to see Miz and Shane as tag team champions now. So, Virtue, let's start with you on this one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, when that happened on SmackDown, I immediately said I'm going with Shane and Miz to win the tag titles here, because there's plenty of time before WrestleMania that they could set that up where they lose the titles or something happens if they do want to go Shane versus Miz for Mania. So I think they're going to build that camaraderie, that team up a little bit, let them win the titles, and Shane's going to have to work a little bit in his jeans and polo.
Now, see, I was just thinking, like, I wasn't a big fan of this Miz and Shane storyline, and I was hoping, like, this was just all a big setup by The Miz, and that's how he could save face, because I feel like it's really watered down his character, personally. But
well, hopefully, Aaron, that's the end game. Still, it might take a little time.
So we'll he's just winning the tag team titles, and that's all part of his plan? See, I think that's just a little bit too much, but I don't know.
Oh. Makes the fans, the kids believe it. It's about the kids, right? They don't write to you and I and everybody on this panel. They write to 7-year-olds.
Right. Well, I mean, being very predictable would be writing to 7-year-olds. But Josh, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think Miz and Shane are going to win the tag titles, and they're going to have this be the program going all the way into WrestleMania. They'll probably lose the titles at Fastlane. I don't know if I really see this going on for a long period of time, like the Rock and Sock connection or Team Hell No. So yeah, I think Miz and Shane will win. Just if anything, they can give Shane McMahon the honor of saying he was a tag team champion. He's already best in the world, so why can't he be a tag team champion too? So yeah, that's what I see. This is just gonna basically be fuel to set up a match between Miz and Shane at WrestleMania.
Right. Well, I'm agreeing with you guys. I say Miz and Shane will win. That wasn't my prediction until this week's SmackDown, but I'm changing now. I think we're going to see them win the titles. Big G.
I'm going to stick with Miz and Shane winning the tag team titles. The Bar has had it since SmackDown 1000, and I think you guys are right. You know, this is going to lead up to WrestleMania between Miz and Shane, and they could even lose the titles as close to Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and then they can build up from there. So, Miz and Shane.
All right. TJS.
You know, it would be really cool if they didn't do the Miz and Shane split, and instead they hold the titles until WrestleMania. Like, they build up a little arc where it's like, we really are the best tag team in the world, and they beat the division, and then their WrestleMania matches versus the Bludgeon Brothers. It would be something creative. Like, the Bludgeon Brothers make a surprise appearance since they're both ready to go, apparently. You could be like, oh, Shane and Miz are facing their biggest test yet. But we won't get that. We'll get a split. Of course, they're going to win the titles. I don't know how long they're going to hold them. But, yeah, I do expect them to have a match at WrestleMania because that's what's been happening with Shane. He's had a match at WrestleMania since he wrestled The Undertaker. So I don't see that changing. Not much I can say about this, except I hope that Virtue's idea about the Miz having amnesia is true.
Right.
Or he was doing this just to really fool Shane, and then he just goes back to full-on heel.
Look, I draw the line when they said coast to cake. This is awful. Please stop.
All right. Well, so
You
we're
didn't
all
like smashing that cake up, did you? Waste of perfectly good cake.
It was, yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of cake, did you guys see that Sasha Banks wardrobe malfunction?
Did we? Did
Yeah,
we? All right. Well, we're all unanimous on that prediction, and nice little comment there, TJS. We'll just use that to segue into the next match, which will be Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. She did have a little malfunction on Raw. That is true. I did look at it for journalistic purposes only. Anyways, yes, of course. We are very dignified gentlemen here at NoDQ.com. So, Ronda Rousey, Sasha Banks. Oh, by the way, I think the bar is going to win now since we all predicted Miz and Shane, but whatever. I have a feeling. I'm curious to see everyone's predictions for this one because I don't think there's any chance Sasha wins. I feel like this is just a placeholder match just to get Ronda from the Rumble to WrestleMania. I don't see Ronda losing the title before WrestleMania. I think this is a clear-cut Ronda's going to retain. But Josh, we'll start with you. Do you think we're going to see Sasha perhaps win the title, or do you think Ronda's going to retain?
I think Ronda Rousey is for sure pretty much winning the championship. The only way, and this will be what I could think, is if they actually have either maybe Becky or someone else, Charlotte costs Ronda the match, Sasha capitalizes and wins the title. Because if Sasha does win the championship, then I think it might be Ronda who makes a surprise appearance in the Royal Rumble and goes on to win the Rumble. I think for both women's title matches, it's going to be very interesting to see if Ronda loses the title. Does that mean she's winning the Rumble? Or if Becky loses, does that mean she's winning? I mean, it's going to be very interesting, and I'll get more into that when we get to that SmackDown title match. But that's the only thing I could think of seeing is if Sasha wins this match, then they're probably going to have Ronda win the Rumble. But I doubt that's going to happen, and most likely I'm just going to stick with Sasha Banks to lose against Ronda. But I think it should be a very good match. I think they mostly just put this together to have a real exciting match with one of their two top best performers.
All right, Big G.
No, good points there. I think Ronda's going to retain, obviously. It'll be a good match. I could see where Sasha puts Ronda in the bang statement, and somehow Ronda counters that into the armbar, makes her tap out within like a couple seconds. It's not going to be a squash match. It'll be a 10 to 15 minute match, and we'll see that happen. Ronda retains, or like Josh said, somebody interferes and costs Ronda. But I'm sticking with Ronda to retain the title.
I mean, you could always have Becky interfere. I mean, what do you think, Virtue?
Ronda's going to retain because if the rumor of the women still possibly headlining Mania going on last, it's not going to be a non-title match. I don't think it'll be the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's going to be the Raw. So Ronda keeping the title makes the most sense to set that up. So clearly, they're not going to let Ronda lose yet. If they let her lose, we'll talk about that at a later date because it would be WrestleMania. So Sasha's filler. And by the way, speaking of wardrobe malfunction, isn't there a 60-second delay before Raw hits the airwaves? They can change things?
Well, there was a 7-second delay, and most people just saw like a black screen for like 3 seconds. But some of the people that have like satellite or whatever did not get that black screen, and thus there were pictures that circulated on Twitter and Facebook. I know TJS, not quite as good as pictures of EC3, but still pretty good. All right, TJS, your thoughts on this match?
Man, where did this EC3 thing come from? I still don't know.
I just heard you have a liking
from your mind.
Well, whatever. I'm not gay. Anyway, about this match, I think if Ronda ended up entering the Rumble and winning it, then the fans would turn on her because they want Becky to win the Rumble. And I feel like they don't want Ronda to get booed. So I just think she's going to flat out retain. Maybe Bayley will try to get involved, but Ronda will shut her down. I don't see anything happening with Natalya. I doubt she'll even be at ringside. So yeah, I just figure Ronda's going to tap Sasha out, and that'll be the end of this. These two will probably never face off again unless there's a meaningless rematch on Raw. And that wouldn't happen. New era, right?
Right. Hey, so we're all unanimous again. How about that? All of us are going with Ronda to retain. There you go. Next up, we have the other Women's Championship match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka defending against Becky Lynch. So this one I feel could go either way, but I'm curious to get everyone's thoughts on this one. Big G, let's start with you on this one. Do you think that Becky's going to win it back, or do you think she's going to lose and maybe enter the Royal Rumble? What are your thoughts?
Man, it's going to be a hard one to think about, but it should be a good match. I'm going to look forward to it because it's got the man in there, my girl Becky Lynch in there. It's got Asuka, who won the 2018 Royal Rumble. I could see Becky going into the Rumble and winning it, and then I could see Becky winning the title and Asuka being in the Rumble. I'm going to go with Becky winning the title back.
All right, well, I'm actually going to agree with you on that. I think Becky's going to win the title. This is my prediction. I'm just going to jump ahead here, but we'll get to it later. I think Becky's going to win the title. I think Charlotte's going to win the Rumble, and I think Charlotte's going to challenge both champions for WrestleMania, and it's going to be a triple threat with both the Raw and SmackDown women's titles on the line. That's what I...
And then whoever she picks, she gets the title then, pretty much?
Whoever, yeah. If one of them beats Becky, they win the SmackDown title. If one of them beats Ronda, they win the Raw women's title. But yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. We'll talk more about that later, though. But I am going to go with Becky to win the title here. Josh, your thoughts?
So I'm just going to go with what I said from the start. I've always wanted to see Becky Lynch and Asuka, but I just feel like this match right now is like booking it into the corner because Asuka just got her championship, so she can't be losing right now. But Becky's on this huge wave of momentum, so she can't be losing right now. And it's like it's the match that neither woman can afford to lose. But that being said, I'm going to go with Asuka to retain the title, and I'm going to hope that they're going to have Becky Lynch channel her inner edge. That's where the whole man stuff started from. And I hope she makes a surprise entrance, goes on and to win the Women's Royal Rumble. I don't know if this is true or not. I've also been hearing rumors that they might have Charlotte win the Women's Royal Rumble and have Becky be a surprise entrance in the Men's Rumble and win. And that's how they set up the triple threat.
Vito,
no idea.
are you Vito? Is Vito here? Is Vito here?
That would be the biggest swerve of all time if that happened.
I don't know how they would pull it off, but yeah. But I'm hoping, though, ultimately Becky Lynch, if she loses to Asuka, goes on to win the SmackDown Women's Royal Rumble.
Imagine if Asuka beats Becky and then Becky doesn't show up in the Women's Rumble. That could be 2014 all over again, and Charlotte gets booed out of the building because the fans are going to expect Becky, and when she doesn't come out, they're just going to crap on the match. We'll see.
And we know who number 30 is going to be, so...
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, number 29 ends up being Charlotte, and there's no Becky after that because we know Carmella.
Or maybe they could tease everybody, say Carmella's music hits, no Carmella, and then Becky comes out instead. Then the place.
Oh yeah, Becky can knock her out in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, so they could do that to save the match because if Becky wasn't in the match and she loses to Asuka, it's not going to be a pretty sight. But anyways, Virtue, your thoughts on this?
I think Asuka's going to retain. I think there's going to be a dusty, dirty finish somehow. I don't know if Charlotte's going to come out, Ronda's going to come out. So it'll protect Becky. I do think Becky will enter in the Royal Rumble match, and I will talk about what I think, how that match will end when we get there. So Asuka, since all we have to say is retain, Asuka retains.
All right, TJS.
Virtue hit the nail on the head. I think Asuka's retaining somehow, dirty finish, whatever. And man, the Vito comment made me laugh because he said something about Carmella cashing in on Brock once, and I just flashed back.
Love you, Vito.
Anyway, yeah. It's like Son said, neither woman can really lose this match because Asuka, it seems like they're trying to rebuild. Becky, we know that she's been on a hot streak. And if I don't see the point in Becky losing the title at TLC if she was just going to win it back at Rumble, unless they want to build something between her and Ronda. which that's got to be it, right? So I'm thinking that maybe Ronda interferes. I don't know. I'm really not sure what to make of this, but all I know is that Asuka's leaving Facefield with the SmackDown Women's title.
I think Vince felt bad for Asuka and said, "Here you go. Here's the title for a month."
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking, quite frankly. And I'm also feeling that way about Daniel Bryan, too, as much as he's been on fire lately. I mean, that's the next match we'll talk about. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. Bryan did get the best of AJ on the go-home show, laying him out with the running knee. So the question is, will Bryan's short reign come to an end, even though his character is red hot right now? The new Daniel Bryan is arguably the hottest part of SmackDown right now. Or will AJ just win the title back and then whoever he's going to face? I'm confused about what's going to happen with the WWE title at WrestleMania. I'm not really sure the direction. To me, it's not really clear. I'm still wondering what's happening here. So let's see what you guys think about this. Josh, we'll start with you. Do you think we're going to see AJ regain the title, or Bryan's going to keep his reign of terror?
No, I think Daniel Bryan will be retaining. I don't think AJ Styles is going to probably get the title back anytime soon, coming off that year plus, over year plus reign that he had. I hope this will be an excellent match, a great conclusion to their feud. It'll be an all-time classic. As far as what's going to happen with the WWE Championship after WrestleMania, the only thing I could possibly think of now, I know I heard Cena's injured, but I don't know if he'll be injured all the way to WrestleMania. I'm thinking that maybe Cena is going to challenge Daniel Bryan, allegedly, right? But I'm thinking Cena challenges Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and that's when he gets his 17th title win. Daniel Bryan's going to go ahead and give him the win back. Which at this point, since Daniel, at least they waited several years for Daniel Bryan to be established, since John Cena did the favorites for him when Daniel was up and coming. So at least it's not a whole idea where like, oh, he's going to destroy Daniel Bryan when there's no momentum. Well, no momentum for him as a top babyface. He's been able to do that. That's the only thing I could possibly think that's going to go on with the WWE Championship. But yeah, AJ Styles will lose the match. Daniel Bryan retain and see what goes from there. Probably Cena and Daniel Bryan's second match.
Could be. TJS, your thoughts?
Man, about this match, I think Daniel's going to retain. By the way, I thought there were no more rematch clauses. It seems like we're still getting like all the rematches that.
Well,
we were not.
Daniel, AJ won his match though. He won a match, right? Didn't he?
He had to earn his title shot. He did earn his title shot.
Yeah, but it's still a rematch. He technically earned his match.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just because, I don't know, it's just nitpicking on my part. Yeah, I think Daniel's retaining. And speaking of nitpicking, I know you didn't see SmackDown, son, but AJ Styles was going for a phenomenal forearm, and Daniel Bryan pushed Vince in the way, and then AJ stopped himself. So I'm like, wait, didn't AJ just punch Vince out like 3 weeks ago? Why is he flinching now?
Well, if you look at Braun Strowman, he got that Universal title taken away just like that, the match for it. So AJ saw Braun, he's like, I ain't going to do this again.
Although it's funny, now that you mention that, AJ did punch Vince and nothing happened.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so Braun needs to go ahead and do another fit or something.
Yeah, it's really confusing. I have no idea what's going on with the title of WrestleMania. Maybe Andrade challenge. Hey, you know what? I think Rey Mysterio is going to challenge Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. That's my bold prediction. So yeah, Daniel is leaving with the title.
Could happen. Virtue, what do you think?
Yes, Daniel Bryan's going to defeat AJ Styles. I won't say it'll be clean. I think Daniel Bryan, he's all about clean energy and vegan and this and that. He's going to cheat to his. Something's going to happen because it'll protect AJ a little bit. So it'll be like you wouldn't expect Daniel Bryan to win a match that way, but that's how he's going to retain. And, of course, you'll see who I pick in the Universal title match and the Royal Rumble winner, which it'll all make sense later. So Daniel Bryan retains.
All right. Well, I am going to agree about Daniel Bryan retaining. I think it's going to be one of those matches where it's going to be a DQ or something like that, where AJ will win the match, but he will not win the title. That's what I'm expecting, and then they'll drag out the feud, another pay-per-view probably, and that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Big G, what do you think?
Well, I'm sticking to the gun. I think Bryan is going to retain here. Like Virtue said, it's going to be some kind of dirty finish. Maybe DQ, a low blow again, or he hits a low blow and then does the running knee again and gets the pinfall. Who knows? As far as, what TJ said about the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, I could see Rey Mysterio, letting him get one more big push before he eventually retires. So Daniel Bryan retains, and it is what it is.
Yeah, because there are more possibilities. Like with Bryan as champion, you can do Bryan versus Cena, or Bryan versus Mysterio, Bryan versus Well, it might end up being Orton versus AJ, but not for the title. That could end up being a WrestleMania program. But there's a lot of possibilities you can do with Bryan defending against one of the top baby faces. All right, well, interesting that we all went with Bryan retaining, so we'll see if AJ wins the title. Next up we have, speaking of where I think this is going to be unanimous, we'll see though, maybe somebody here has a different opinion. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against plain Fonz Finn Balor. He made it clear in an interview that he's not doing the demon character for this match. So unless that's some kind of bizarre swerve, we're not going to see the demon in this Universal Championship match, which is stupid to me. It takes away any suspension of disbelief that Balor has any opportunity to beat him, as far as I'm concerned. I think this is clear-cut. Brock's going to beat him. Balor will put up a good fight, but he'll be a very game Finn Balor, but it's not going to be enough. So, Big G, your thoughts on this?
God. Oh, man. I like
big butts, and I cannot lie.
No, that's TJS.
I so do not want Lesnar
and
to
it felt right.
the title, but I know it's going to happen. Like you said, Aaron, Balor's going to put up a fight. And like on SmackDown, Carmella said, what about the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar? And she didn't even mention Finn Balor at all. So I hate to say it, but I hope that big beastie boy Brock Lesnar retains, and we'll see, and then we'll talk about the Rumble.
All right. Well, so, one person brought up the idea, like, what if Strowman costs Lesnar the title and it's like an Eddie Guerrero moment? I don't see that happening. TJS?
You know what? I'm taking that back. I just thought of something. I could see Strowman's music hitting, distracting Lesnar, Balor picking up the win, just like Jericho did to Kevin Owens against Goldberg. I can see that happening. I'm going with Finn Balor all the way.
TJS with the eyebrow. That was priceless. All right, what's your prediction, TJS?
Hey, the Fonz. Man, this has to be a joke, right? Like, Finn is going to be the demon, right? Like, this, it has to be a joke because Vince was even like, hey, pal, you just don't have enough beef. So, surely, like, Finn is going to be like, oh, he was bullied or whatever. He's going to come out as the demon. He's going to be a badass, right? God, I hope. Because if it's regular Finn, then, man, that's just terrible. I was leaning towards Finn winning on Raws just because he was buried so much, but I don't see it happening. And I definitely don't see Braun costing Brock the match. I think that's really bizarre, and that's not in Braun's character. I'm really curious why Braun got pulled from this match. If he's clear, that's interesting. I guess they just didn't want him to take another fall to Lesnar.
Right.
Maybe they're saving that match for WrestleMania.
They might be.
Anyway, I think Brock is obviously retaining. It'll be a very game Finn Balor, like you said, Aaron. Yeah. It'll probably be one F5. I don't think there'll be any more than that, and that'll be it.
All right. Well, Virtue, what do you think?
Wouldn't this be so WWE if Demon Balor shows up and wins the title and then loses it as regular Finn in like the Elimination Chamber? But yeah, regardless of what version of Balor shows up, that was a joke, by the way. Brock Lesnar is winning. Brock Lesnar is going to Mania, and we'll see how this all ties in with my other predictions when we get to the Royal Rumble match.
All right, Josh.
Well, I think I told you the second Finn Balor won the match. If there was ever a time for the WWE to finally put over the Demon King strong, it would be this moment. And that was just hype mode of me speaking, but after I read all the reports and realized, yeah, this is just a replacement for Braun Strowman. Finn Balor is losing this match. I do think we will see the Demon King because you're going to want to give that hope. It's going to pop the crowd like, oh, they might actually. I think if Finn Balor comes out there as his regular self, it's going to be like, oh, we know good and well he's going to lose. So I think it'll be a good match from what we've seen with Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, CM Punk. These smaller guys have given Brock Lesnar some of his better matches that we've seen over the years. So I definitely think it'll be a good match. But, yeah, 1 F5 and Brock Lesnar will end up taking it. But, hey, if there is a possibility, I would love to see. I would personally be fine if they came up with something, whether it's Finn Balor gets the upper hand somehow, like Brock's head goes into the post and he has to sell like he might have a concussion or whatever. They have to try and work in there to make it look somewhat believable where someone interferes. But I'm not really feeling the interference part because, like, that's what they did with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Well, I think if Braun interfered, it'd be like the ref would throw the match out and Brock would remain champion. I think it would be something like that.
Right. I think, though, overall, maybe there's a 10% chance Finn Balor wins, but overall, Brock Lesnar's retaining, and they're going to probably have them go all the way to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I feel like if it's regular Balor, he has like a 1% chance of winning. If he's Demon Balor, maybe he has like a 3% chance of winning.
1%? Isn't that something about EC3?
TGS's favorite.
Something? Oh.
TGS has the poster of EC3 with his shirt off in his room.
Yeah. I will add one more point, though. I think just at this point, I don't mind if Finn Balor ends up winning the title. I rather them get past Brock Lesnar's long Universal title. Shoot, I want to see Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, something different.
Nah, me too.
They did get past it, but Roman got sick. Roman was sick.
And then they went right back to Lesnar.
Yep, and it's a shame. All right, so now we have the 2 Royal Rumble matches, the big draws of the pay-per-view that is also called the Royal Rumble. First, we have the women's Royal Rumble match. I'm feeling like the men's will main event this year. I think the women's main evented last year because it was the first, and also Ronda was coming out at the end, so that was the big cliffhanger ending to the pay-per-view. So I think this time the men's will close the show. For the women's, I mentioned earlier, what we're doing, by the way, for the predictions, everyone's doing this. We're doing 2 picks. So you have your primary pick, which is 2 points if you're correct, and your secondary pick. If your secondary pick wins, you get a point. Yes, Virtue.
Now, I would like to go first with this because I'm throwing a wrench into that system. So whenever we're ready, I'd like to go first.
Okay, you go first.
I think Becky will be in this match. I think we're going to get a Lex Luger and Bret Hart finish with Becky and Charlotte. They're both winning the match.
Okay, well.
That's what I'm going with. That's how we're going to get the triple threat at WrestleMania.
So Becky's
So with that said, I think both Becky and Charlotte are winning. So what I would do is this be how do I get scored on that?
You know
those
what?
are my 2.
What I mean? If they do that, we'll just give you 2 points.
Okay. So since I'm picking them as the winner, I don't get a backup pick.
Go ahead, do a backup pick. What the hell? But it has to be them as co-winners to get the 2 points.
Okay. So yeah, I think they're both going to win. I think we're going to get a Luger Bret Hart, and then it'll be my backup, which I don't think anyone's going to get a backup pick because it's just too obvious. So let me just throw a name out there, Ember Moon.
All right, interesting. All right, Josh, what do you think?
I'm with Virtue, but not so much the Lex Luger and Bret Hart finish. I think it will be one of them, but I could easily see that happening as their way to get to the triple threat. But for my 2 picks, it's going to come down to either Charlotte or Becky because those are the really only 2 women that I could see WWE wanting to put against Ronda Rousey.
So Becky's your primary and then Charlotte's your second, or do you want to flip it?
Yeah.
Now remember,
Becky would be the
son, back
primary.
then, something leaked that Luger was going to win the Rumble, or I think it was Luger, and Vince didn't like that, so that's why they did the two winning it, and they did that whole tournament at not tournament, but the multiple matches at WrestleMania 10. I think so many people are saying Becky versus Ronda or Charlotte versus Ronda. I could just see Vince wanting to throw a wrench into everything.
Or, too, could fate intervene again like it did in 2005 with Batista and Cena? What if both of them go over accidentally and Vince has to come out again?
Oh, there you go. Tears another
That
quad
would be
all
great.
over again.
But yeah, Becky for my primary and Charlotte for my second.
Okay, well, I think Charlotte's winning, as I mentioned earlier. I think that's my prediction. There's going to be Charlotte challenging both champions for WrestleMania. My second pick, who will my second pick be? I will just go ahead and say that it'll be Becky, you know, that other scenario where Becky loses and enters. So Becky's my second pick. TJS?
Not much. I mean, like you guys said, I mean, it's got to be one of those two. Maybe Alexa Bliss could win. I think with the whole Luger Bret Hart thing, I think it's too early in this match's history for that to happen. And I feel like since it's only the second Women's Rumble, it would kind of taint the credibility of him. I like the idea, though. I think that's the best way to do it. But primary, I'm saying Charlotte. Secondary, Becky.
All right, Big G.
Well, I like Virtue's idea, but then I think I like Son's idea too. You know, if they both end up being eliminated at the same time, Vince is going to come out or somebody's going to come out and say, restart this match. But I'm not going that way. I'm going with Becky as my primary, and I'm going with the goddess, Alexa Bliss, as my second.
That's a good pick.
Oh, that's right.
And Big G, the reason why I went with Ember Moon, like if they just wanted to shock everyone, Ember then could go and challenge Asuka, which would make, that match would make sense. You know what I mean? That's why I picked her as my second.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, I couldn't think of any other matches for Asuka at WrestleMania, and I was thinking just Charlotte, but Ember Moon. If they were going to have Asuka lose,
they worked in NXT,
Ember Moon
Yeah.
Finally get her big win. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but we'll see. That would be the surprise. I think that would be like the dark horse candidate to win, Ember Moon. All right, so now we have the men's Royal Rumble match. We did talk about it a little bit earlier. Big G, since you closed this last match, how about you start us off here with your number 1 and number 2 pick for the men's Royal Rumble match?
Okay, sounds good. Man, oh man. Whew, I'm going to have to go, I know I picked Balor to win, but my gut, Lesnar's going to retain. So I'm going with Seth freaking Rollins to be my primary pick, and I'm going to have to go with the Scottish Terminator, Drew McIntyre, as my second pick.
All right, interesting. Josh.
He took my picks. Yeah. I actually want Drew McIntyre to win this Rumble. I've been a fan of his in 2009. Every time I see him and Vince McMahon on screen, I'm like, just go ahead and remind him when he used to say, the chosen one. I missed that. But yeah, I've been a fan of his since back then. So I would love to see Drew McIntyre to win it. However, I will choose Seth Rollins as my primary, as I think they're going to want to go with a baby face, because I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, Lesnar's retaining. But as my second pick, definitely Drew McIntyre. And he's who I really want to see win this Rumble.
Yeah, I was initially going to go with Rollins as the primary pick and McIntyre as the secondary pick. But now that Strowman is cleared, I'm going to go ahead and say Strowman wins, and WWE is going to have Strowman beat Lesnar at WrestleMania. Maybe. I mean, maybe not, but I just have this feeling Strowman's winning now since he's cleared to go. And then Rollins, I'd like to see Rollins win. My heart wants Rollins, but I'm thinking Strowman at this point. But Virtue, what do you think?
All right, so first of all, do we know all 30 participants in both the men's and the women's, or did they leave a couple?
No.
So after we're done with this, should we pick like who we think might be a NXT surprise or
yeah, we could do
or
that.
Whatever? All right, so I'm torn because my two are Rollins and Strowman. Either one, whoever wins, if my predictions are true, where Daniel Bryan's still the WWE champion and Brock Lesnar's still the Universal champion, those are heels. So either Strowman or Rollins, they might drag it on for a couple weeks. You don't know who they're going to challenge, even though it might be obvious. I really want to say Rollins because the Roman factor, like tribute, right? Beats Brock. But Aaron, I'm going to agree with you. Rollins is my backup, my second pick. To be safe there, I think Braun Strowman's going to win this thing. And, of course, I think he will challenge Lesnar, not Bryan. But that's what's going to happen, in my opinion.
All right, TJS.
There's so many possibilities. If you would have asked me last week, I would say Bray Wyatt was winning. But you guys don't think Bray could win, because they haven't had him on TV or anything? And I don't know. Since Matt Hardy is cleared, I think that they're just going to bring that team back.
Probably.
I was thinking Lars Sullivan could win too. Primary, I'm going to say...
You got to have a little anxiety about that pick.
Oh. Damn, burn.
Huh?
Yeah. So, primary Seth. Secondary, I want to say John Cena, even though it's in question that he'll be there. Make a prize. R-Truth, since he's number 30, maybe? No.
So R-Truth is 30 and Carmella's 30?
Yeah. I have a feeling that R-Truth is going to enter the wrong Rumble match or something. Or
Enter the women's.
I wanted to say that earlier. I'm hoping they do a hilarious spot where the the women's Rumble, when it gets to number 30, R-Truth comes out and Carmella goes like, "No, this is my Rumble match. Yours is next." And he goes like, "Oh, my bad."
You know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I'm picking Strowman as my secondary because I could see R-Truth coming up there and then Strowman taking him out before he can end on edge.
So you guys all picked Strowman, right? So they're going to have Strowman win technically 2 Rumbles in the past 2 years.
That
Even
other
though
one
the greatest
didn't
Royal
mean
Rumble
anything.
really didn't count. I mean, he did win a Royal Rumble already.
Yeah,
You know
but
what? Scratch it. My secondary is Lars Sullivan. I'm thinking that
It's a work? That all this news about him's a work?
no, because I heard WWE was very understanding about it, so I'm kind of thinking I'm picturing R-Truth trying to come out there, and then Lars Sullivan laying him out before he can get in the ring, comes, cleans house, and then the show goes off the air with everyone like, "Oh my God, that's the freak Lars Sullivan."
All right.
We haven't seen the video package for him lately. They haven't talked about him, and they've been talking about how the GMs were bidding for him. So maybe we can get a storyline where it's like, is Lars going to challenge Raw or SmackDown? It's going to be like a Batista thing, like WrestleMania 21. So yeah, Lars is my second. Seth my first.
That would be quite the swerve right there. All right, guys. So that's it for all the matches. We got through it, but I guess we'll do a tiebreaker, which is I'll have each of you guess a surprise entrant who's not currently in WWE or NXT. And if your person shows up as a surprise entrant, that'll be a bonus point in the event of a tie. And you guys could also name off, some surprise entrants you would like to see. So I'll go ahead and start us off here. As far as a surprise entrant who's not in WWE right now that I could see being in the Royal Rumble match, I mean, that's a tough one to say. I would just go the safe route and say somebody like Jim Duggan for the bonus point, but I'm hoping we'll get to see somebody else, somebody that we haven't seen. I'm going to go on a limb and just for fun, I'm going to say Gangrel. He's going to be my pick to be the...
Okay.
I'd love to see that entrance one more time, and they teased it with New Day, so maybe they'll actually... He still works the indies, so why not bring back Gangrel for a one-off and have the big cool entrance? I would love to see that. So I'm going to say Gangrel. And, for NXT guys, I could see, EC3 being in it, and maybe we'll see, Aleister Black or Johnny Gargano or one of those guys in it, too. One of the... Adam Cole, maybe. A couple of those guys. But anyways, Big G, who's your surprise pick for your bonus point?
Man, I was gonna say Gangrel too, but I'm gonna go with. Dang.
It's hard to think of somebody, isn't it?
I got someone.
All right, Virtue.
Go ahead, Virtue. Go ahead, and then
Randy Orton's gonna clean house. It'll be earlier in the match, middle of the match, because Randy Orton's gonna clean house. Batista's music's gonna hit, something like that. So I'll go with Batista. And then I'd like to see, with all this heat he has on him, because I think it's a work, Velveteen Dream. I think he'd get a huge reaction. A lot of people, I thought I was one of the first to come out with that, and then I posted on Twitter, and everyone's like, no, we're all thinking it too. So Velveteen Dream is something I think that would draw a good pop. But Batista, right around like 10 or 12, and Orton's out there, and then they have their little face-off moment, and then somehow they both get thrown over so the crowd doesn't get hot.
Well, there you go.
You know what I mean? The crowd might get mad if Batista's in there.
I'm gonna go with somebody crazy. I'm gonna go with D'Lo Brown.
All right. That's an interesting pick right there. How about Val Venus coming back? That would be something else.
Hello, ladies.
He's a popular, I think.
Yeah, the old saxophone music.
One.
Yeah. All right, Josh, you got yours?
Oh, yeah. I would like to see Gangrel come back just for the entrance. But one person I've been waiting for years now, the world's most dangerous man,
Yes.
Ken Shamrock. I would pop just to hear that music and just see him come out belly to belly, suplexing, putting people's in ankle locks. So that's who I would like to see. But if I had to pick if there's going to be a surprise, I think there's not going to be a surprise. I don't think there was a really, outside of Rey Mysterio, there wasn't really a big surprise last year. So I think there might not be a surprise.
You could say nobody. If you want to say nobody as far as non...
I will go with nobody as far as surprise. I think they're just going to have everyone out there. We'll probably see a few NXT call-ups in there. But yeah, I think Velveteen Dream, because I'm trying to think of... I was thinking maybe Tommaso, but then I'm like, you know what? They want to go for the biggest reaction, the biggest pop, and everyone would go crazy if the Velveteen Dream comes out. So I'll pick him for the NXT surprise. And I'm unfortunately going to go with nobody as far as surprise. But I would love to see Ken Shamrock. Now, watch Ken Shamrock makes a surprise appearance, and I'm going to be like,
hey,
you know what? If Velveteen Dream comes out, he should be dressed like 1993, 92 Shawn Michaels. That would be great. What yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
But you know, there was something I could see. Maybe I know he said he's not going to get in the ring, but since Shawn Michaels is just fresh off of a match, maybe I could imagine the crowd going wild if Shawn Michaels comes out just to do some spots in the Rumble. And Batista's another one I could see. So that's the only other possibilities I could see.
All right, TJS.
Can I say Kurt Angle? Does that count as like a surprise?
He's already under contract, so it's got to be somebody who's not with WWE NXT at the moment.
Yeah, and same with EC3. He's already under contract.
Right.
So I couldn't say Hulk Hogan either, then, could I?
He's not going to be in it, but yeah, I mean, it's somebody who's not involved in WWE right now in any capacity.
A former WWE superstar. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
CM Punk?
I wish.
I'm going to say Jeff Jarrett. For the hell.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
Double J.
I
He
would
could do something with like Elias or something. So I'm going with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, that's a good one, and he still wrestles occasionally. I like that. Good choice, TJS.
For NXT, I think either Ricochet or Tommaso Ciampa. I think the crowd will go crazy if Ciampa comes out. They're gonna rain him with booze. Like as soon as they hear like the beeping, the Taz.
No one will survive.
Yeah, we're gonna hear that, and then it'll actually be Taz coming out or something.
Oh, Taz is a good one. I'd like to see Taz.
I would see Taz.
Yeah, my official's Jeff Jarrett though.
No, I like that one. That's a good one, TJS. All right, guys, good stuff here.
No Rob Van Dam, huh?
I would love to see RVD. I got one more thing I was going to say that I think would have been better before Kurt Angle got here, but would be an awesome troll moment is if they hit Kurt Angle's music. Everybody gets really crazy, or everybody's ready to pop, and out comes the Patriot. And like all the fans remember, yeah, that was the Patriots theme first. I guess they could do it now, but it's not going to be as effective.
I think Del Wilkes is like 400. I think Del Wilkes is like 400 pounds now, though.
Or they could do the This Fire Burns, then have Randy Orton come out since he used it for
Perfect.
Ultimate Heat.
That would be great, but I don't think they're ever going to do that. All right, guys. Thank you all for being on today. Let's go ahead and do our plugs. Josh, let's start with you.
So, yeah, they call me Josh. Joshua is my real name, but I go by on YouTube and online is the name Son Goshoku, where I introduce myself as, hey, everybody, Son Goshoku here. I do voice acting, video editing, all that stuff. I'm currently working on a film that's inspired from anime called Battleception. Gonna have a trailer dropping for that soon. I'll be doing reviews for the Royal Rumble coming up, audio content you can go ahead and listen to as you go about your every day. I will have a Dragon Ball Super Broly review coming up. Notice I have the Bardock t-shirt, tank top on, basically in honor of Bardock being in this movie. So yeah, definitely, if you're a big anime fan, wrestling fan, check out my channel, spelled SONGOSHUAKU, and that's where all my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all that stuff. Thanks for having me on again,
Absolutely.
Aaron.
A pleasure. Big G.
NoDQ.com/Big G takes you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram. Jeffrey Hustle on Facebook. NoDQ.com/shirts. And he's got his shirt on, NoDQ Review. The brand new Big G t-shirt. If you want to know, just ask. This weekend, they're having a sale for Rumble. It's only, 72 hours, Aaron?
Yeah.
All right. So grab everybody's NoDQ shirt or your favorite, whoever it is. And that's it for the Big G, y'all.
All right. TJS.
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook page. Talk to me there. Also, Twitter at NoDQ_TJS. That will be my Twitter. You can follow me. I occasionally tweet, not very much though. And NoDQ.com, there's a discuss section where we talk. And let me just say that probably after this video, I'm going to get on and I'm going to start commenting on the Vicky Guerrero story. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts about that, you don't want to miss it, because it'll probably be a long night, folks. I've got class at 8 in the morning, but I'm going to comment away and do some great discussing. So that's all for me, man.
You're going to make NoDQ comments great again?
Yeah, correct.
Let me hear that toilet flush one time for Nia Jax.
For Nia Jax?
Yeah.
I could hear it. It's very faint, but I could hear it.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. Facebook is NoDQ.com/Virtue. And the NoDQ review in its original format will be back again next week. We'll be discussing Raw, SmackDown, Royal Rumble, TakeOver, a lot of stuff. Might be hour and a half. So that's it.
Yeah, and that will probably be on Thursday because I will be out of town until Wednesday, but it will be up next week for sure. It just might be a day late.
Aaron, you're in the Rumble? Is that why you're going out?
Oh yeah, I'm heading out to enter the Rumble as number 29 and win the whole thing.
I forgot one more thing. If you guys want to know what your favorite NoDQ personalities listen to, go to Spotify, playlist #TeamNoDQ. Over 1,000 songs from different artists, different genres. So go out and enjoy.
Yeah.
Is EC3's theme on there?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't put it on there.
Yeah, Big G contributed a bunch of songs, and then there's some good music on there. No, just kidding, Big G. You actually had a lot of good music on there. No, I'm serious. Like I actually like Big G's music the most of everybody, so I'm just messing with him.
I don't know. Big G, did you put some Beatles on there?
No, that was all Aaron. Aaron
And
put all the Beatles
TJS.
on there. And TJS, yeah.
And Greg did too.
I highly recommend, if you guys haven't listened to it yet, listen to Bad Mother Effer on there by Kid Rock.
Is that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, then. I'll come out to that when I enter the Rumble at number 29. By the way, it's the women's
There you go.
Rumble I would be entering, not the men's. Right,
No one
TJS?
picked The Undertaker, huh?
Oh, yeah. Nobody did pick The Undertaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask for The Undertaker.
Ask
I'm tired of The Undertaker.
It's like I was saying. I think I messaged you guys. I was like, there's like no buzz for the Undertaker's match this year. Like,
Who's going to be the big Hall of Fame, the headliner for the Hall of
Ooh.
Fame this year? Anybody?
I heard
have a guess?
WWE possibly spoiled it would be the Undertaker.
Yeah, but that could have just been a mistake by WWE where they just labeled him as a Hall of Famer when he's not yet. But we'll see. All right, guys, so that'll wrap it up for this video. Thank you all again for being part of this, and thank you to all the viewers out there for watching. Spread the word, share this video, yada, yada, yada. And DGS, maybe one day you could show us your EC3 poster for the world to see, but one day. All right, guys. Yeah, maybe next time. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you then.